Bonjour, hello everyone. I'm Nata, host of the Nata PR School podcast. You're a successful entrepreneur or marketing manager and you're about to launch a new product or service, or you've been selling your goods for quite some time, but you want to learn how to increase your visibility, get known, and reach more clients? At Nata PR, we deal with real clients every day and we'll teach you simple, fun, and honest PR solutions. You'll learn easy steps to combine PR to social media right now. Keep listening and let's get started. Bonjour, hello and welcome to this 37th episode of the Nata PR School podcast, where we will be talking about PR and marketing laws and law number 2, which is failure. Bonjour and welcome, marketing communication friends. And if you're a business owner, I'm super happy that you're there listening to this podcast. We're growing fast and thank you so much for listening to this podcast. So, failure today. Have you noticed this word being used more and more by senior executives, business coaches, business owner, or company's owner who started a company and they talk about how they fail? I've had fun doing something that I really urge you to do, which is Google searches. I sometimes tell you, right, we're so lucky today. Why don't you do a little search on Google? So I did that and I was searching business failures and I got more than 500 million hit. And these titles were at the top of the list. I love doing that sometimes when I want to talk about a subject or I'm inspired and I want to do something special for a client. It's amazing what we can find online. So here are some of the first titles, the first themes that came out. The first one was Celebrating Failure in Business, according to École des Entrepreneurs, which is a business school. So how to celebrate failure in business. Then the other one was How Failure Can Make You a Better Entrepreneur. Wow. According to BDC. Another one was The Business Failure That's Good for You. And the other one that really struck me, 3 ways you can succeed by failing, according to a business newspaper called Les Affaires. So 3 ways you can succeed by failing. This last title really attracted my attention. And is there really a method to learn how to fail? Are there better ways to fail? According to this one, I guess so. So like many entrepreneurs, failing is not something that I really, really like. Of course, I have my own collection of rejected proposals or clients that decided to work with someone else for all kinds of reasons. And well, maybe like you, I try to avoid this verb, this word fail as much as possible. But I'm aware that trying new things, sometimes if you're learning a new software or you are including a new technology in your office, at work, it might means that you will fail because you need to learn it. So it's something new. So those who manage to learn from these failures, obviously, will succeed faster. And failure is probably something inevitable sometimes for many of us. And yes, it is inevitable in PR and marketing, of course. And I think that the best way to deal with failure is really to face it. So this article, the last one, 3 ways you can succeed by failing. Here are the 3 steps. I want to explore these with you because I found it so interesting. So I went obviously online and read the article and was really surprised to see that this business newspaper was talking about the actor Will Smith and how these 3, let's say, stages are how he sees failure and this is what he suggests. So the first step is fail early. Then the other one is fail often. And the third one, fail forward. So let's explore a little bit each of them. So fail early, what does that mean? It makes sense when you start thinking about it because, if you know a failure is there, it's pending. And if you live and stay with it too long, sometimes, if you're not going to win and you keep going, you might be losing a lot of your resources, financial resources, of course. So you might have a big loss. And if you fail early, then yes, there will be a loss, but maybe not as large and important. And this is not to mention, if you keep working on something that's not going to work, the stress, and just not on you, but on people around you. So the impact can be huge on your health, on your loved one. So fail early might save you some energy, might save you from becoming very ill too. So first step, according to Will Smith, fail early. Step number 2, fail often. Quite a tip, isn't it? Not something I want to do personally, but I get it. I understand why. So we often think that failure is the end of the world. And I still think it is sometimes. So let's say you write a blog post or you decide to start your own podcast and nobody listens to it after 1, 2, 3 podcasts. Well, is that a failure? Some people would consider it a failure and would stop. So many would say, yes, it's a failure. People are not listening to it. But if you haven't listened to my episode number 20, when I'm talking with my podcast producer, here's what he says. Most of his clients stop recording after 10, or they don't even do 10 podcasts. But I told him, you have to tell them, because the magic really starts happening after you have recorded 30 podcasts or even 40 podcasts, 40 episodes. This is when I call it the magic. So this is when the SEO is really picking up and it really increases your visibility like big time. To me, like podcasting, the podcast is my discovery, my online discovery, my favorite tool right now. Of course, there's no guarantee of success when you give a presentation, when you present a bid, or when you have this amazing offer. It's good, but sometimes, the client you propose it to might not see the value in what you're proposing. Of course, my partner and I do understand that we won't win 100% of the time, even if we're quite good, though, I have to admit. But sometimes we lose some big bids and for a different reason. And I strongly believe that failure is probably essential and part of any business. But we know that if we keep going and if we keep meeting people and presenting services and offers, we will find our people, as I say, and we will find those companies who really want to work with us, who understands the value we're giving. And step number 3, still according to my friend Will Smith, fail forward. This means keep moving forward despite the setbacks, despite the failure. If you fail, stand up again as quickly as possible and don't stop. So fail forward. So successful, innovative entrepreneurs are determined and dedicated to achieving their goal. And those people really fail forward. It's a good example. Like those people who never stop, despite all the setbacks and the bad things happening to them. Think about the smartphone that we are all using now, that we all have one in our hands. How many prototypes, how many failures before they really were able to create this incredible device? And speaking for myself, failure still hits me just as hard. But the difference now, 20 years down the road, with all the tools that I have, I'm a trained coach, so I know how to move out of it, not to stay too long in this uncomfortable feeling. It's not fun. I don't feel joy when let's say, experience failure. It's not my favorite feeling. It's really uncomfortable, but I know I'm not going to die. I take the time to let the feeling in. Not a pleasant one, of course, as I just told you. And then it kind of melts. It's really hard to explain, but thank God it doesn't stay with me very long. That's a huge difference now. With all the tools that I know, with my experience, I know it's going to pass, and it does. So thank you, my friend Will Smith, for these 3 tips. How to fail, fail early, fail often, fail forward. And before I end this podcast, I just wanted to leave you with these quotes that I find really interesting. So the first one is, when we fail, it's the perception of failure, not the failure itself, that makes us suffer. And I'm going to add, so this is a quote from Fred Bastien, who organizes a training called the Fail Camp. Wow. So it's not the failure that hurts, it's what we think about it at the end of the day. It's always what we think about it that makes us feel a certain way. And the second quote that I really like, if you've never failed in business, it's probably because you've living too comfortably. You're not taking enough risks. This is a quote from Alexander Taillefer. He calls himself a serial entrepreneur. I like this one because it's true that if you stay in your comfort zone, you might not experience failure, but you might also be very unhappy because you don't move forward. And if you want to move forward, sometimes you have to try new things and fail. That's how it works. So I'd like to hear you. Many of you now contact us for a free consultation. There's the link down below. So please book a free consultation. I'll be happy to talk with you, and I want to know what you're doing, and I can tell you really in all honesty if I can help you or not. And I want to know what you're up to and what do you think about failure. So hopefully you've learned a few things today, and I hope you'll be joining me next week. À la semaine prochaine. Hey, you want to learn more about how to implement PR strategies? Head on to natapr.com and get on our list. You will also receive the Nata PR model on how to create a successful PR campaign. If you want to become a client, just send us an email to nata@natapr.com. Talk to you next week. À la semaine prochaine.